Carla and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. And it is They Made What into a TV series as we bring The Last of Us to a close. It is the end of Season 1, the last episode. Episode 9, Look for the Light. Directed by Ali Abbasi and written, of course, by Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann. This is the finale. This has aired and has, I think, based off what I've been reading, controversial to a certain degree. Yep. People love it, people not hate it, but have issues with it for a number of reasons. For starters, the most obvious is that as finales go, it is the shortest episode of the entire season, which was a surprise. Yep. It was. It's not very, do I want to say not very action-packed? In regards to maybe what people wanted. I think I think people wanted the Infected to be destroying everything. They wanted a big, bold, but it seems like a lot of people wanted a big and explosive finale involving Infected, and that is not the case at all. In fact, it's the running theme. We have no Infected in this at all. Well, technically there is at the start. Yeah, but for the most part, when it comes to Ellie and Joel, it is not about that. It's a continuation of the issues. I'm happy with this as a finale. I'm going to put it out there. I'm happy with this as a finale. It sticks exclusively to the game format. It doesn't change up too much. It does some of the iconic moments from it. It offers up an explanation and changes something from the game in regards to why Ellie is immune to the infection. Yep. That aspect as well. So that's an interesting touch. And it ends satisfyingly enough. I'm happy with it. I just think that as a population, as a race, we're too picky, man. You know, we demand a TV series to follow a game, and they do it to T, but we're still not happy. Of course, It's like, come on, man. What do you want? Like, you want a TV show, yet you moan and moan. So then what will happen? It'll get cancelled or whatever, and then you moan that it's been cancelled. You know. I understand what you're saying, and I do agree with you. Man. I do agree with you. I think sometimes, my goodness me, it's a great show that mostly doesn't put a foot wrong. And people still find things to complain about. I completely understand that. However, I also sit completely and utterly in the camp that everything deserves to be criticised and analysed and put apart. You can enjoy something, and that is your opinion. You can hate something, and that is your opinion. Hell, go look at our Halo series talk through and see how much we enjoy that show and contrast that to a lot of other people's opinions who hate it. Yep. It all depends on what you're after. It still blows my mind that people will sit there and go, well, they didn't do that part from the game, do that part from the game about The Last of Us. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, that blows my mind. Yep. But I also accept that that's totally fine. I'm not going to sit here and criticise someone's opinion when we do the exact same thing. Of course not. But I also agree with you that, my God, what do you want? Yeah, I said going into a different TV series. I'll give you an example. The Rings of Power. The amount of criticism that's got. It deserved a lot. It does, yes. Yeah. But I'm appreciated the fact that I've got more Lord of the Rings, and obviously I want it to be obviously half decent, of course. And obviously I've heard that they're making movies with Warner Brothers, so I'm hoping they're going to be acceptable. But I'd rather have more Lord of the Rings at half decent than have nothing at all, and that's it. Bye Tolkien. You know. So that there, what you've just said is quite controversial in my opinion. Of course it is. Because I would disagree with you on this one. I actually would disagree with you. I'm not going to. My disagreement is this: I don't want more of something if it's shit. I don't see the point of it. I think you actually end up damaging, and we've seen this with sequels and series where more has just ended up damaging the stuff that was good. Mm-hmm. And there's your problem. If more crap Lord of the Rings stuff comes, it just starts damaging the overall brand. You can say, well, the original trilogy will never be, will always stand out and stuff like that. Do you not agree with me that the inferior and disappointing Hobbit films damage or take just a little bit away from things overall? Because I did. And I also enjoyed Rings of Power. I enjoyed elements of that. But I also disliked a lot of it. Too much Galadriel for starters. And all of that. The only thing that damaged... And the more they do this, the more you don't want to watch Lord of the Rings related stuff. I do agree with what you're saying there, but obviously the only thing that damaged for me with The Hobbit was that there was no need for 3 films. It's a very short book, and they stretched it out. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
There's loads, but
there's quite a bit.
Yeah.
CGI. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Lords of the Rings, but that sidetrack I completely understand. I guess we could use it in reference to, when something's just successful and they're like, we're going to make spin-offs, we're going to make spin-offs, we're going to make spin-offs. You're seeing it now. The Walking Dead is wrapped up, and everybody seemed to weirdly, right? Everybody seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, and then it's like, oh no, we're doing spin-offs. Game of Thrones, everyone was like, well, that was a shit ending. And then everyone was like, oh my God, but House of the Dragon's great and all that kind of thing. So and that's cool and all that. That's inevitable. Companies want to make money. If something's successful, they're going to hammer it and hammer it and hammer it and hammer it until it stops making money, and then they'll abandon it. Yeah. That's just the case. I don't know, like I said, going back to my original point, sometimes I wonder what people wanted from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But I think the general consensus is overall that it's gone down very, very well. I saw posts on social media recently that measured the growth in viewers, and by the end, it looked like they doubled their viewing figures for the episodes.
That's good.
Which is something like, I think the first episode was around 3.5 million. And by the end, it was like 8, which is very, very impressive.
Yeah,
it shows,
good.
And we've said it all the way through this series talk through. Part of the reason why I think this has been successful is that it has appealed to people who aren't gamers.
Yes.
At the same time as pleasing the gamers.
Yep.
Which is incredibly hard to do. It really is. But if it was ever going to be possible, it was going to be with something like this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It is hard. We know it is very hard to turn something like Resident Evil, Silent Hill into watchable, believable content because of the complexity of the games. It's trying to turn Mario and things like that into it, so you have to change things up. The Last of Us, while was risky because of how that game is played, it seemed more ready because it almost played out like a movie.
Yeah, because I think the one thing that helps with the non-gaming people is the fact that this is something that could actually potentially happen.
Of course, yeah. Its story is very believable.
I'm not saying like a zombie apocalypse could ever happen, because who knows, if some crazy scientist could create something, who knows, but a virus is more likely could happen tomorrow next week.
Well, let's just look at the last few years of a spread of a virus, as it were.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's it's completely understandable. But yeah, this finale, we do begin with a flashback, funny enough, as we're introduced to Ellie's mother, Anna. Do you know who played her?
Yes,
yes, you
do.
do.
I do.
Yes, you do. Of course.
I've done my research for it.
Yes. This is, of course, the woman motion capture who is actually Ellie from the game.
Yes.
Which is cool. My wife we're watching. My wife goes, "Oh, how do I know this woman? I don't know her face." And I was like, "You don't know her?"
No.
My wife said, "No, I do." I was like, "Well, I still like she in a show you watched or something like that." She's like, "I can't remember." And I was like, "Well, I know her." And I'm sitting there like, you can't be for the reasons why I know.
Yeah.
So I said, well, who is she? And I said, well, she plays Ellie. She is the motion capture and voice of Ellie from the game. And my wife was like, yeah, I don't know.
No. Did you think that she has quite a facial likeness to Bella Ramsey? Yeah.
I said, we laughed and we're like, really odd that she looks a lot like Ellie, like Bella Ramsey.
I thought it was her mother at first, but I really said, but obviously it's not.
Yeah, but, you could believe that.
Really, brilliant casting to her again.
Yes, indeed, and a very, very nice touch to include such an iconic person into the show. And she's basically about to give birth. Seems to have been separated or chased or whatever, and ends up at a sort of townhouse. A country house, where she gets attacked by an infected. Manages to fight it off, but does get bitten on the leg as she gives birth to Ellie. And this is how Ellie they explain how Ellie gets her immunisation, because along comes Marlene, who sees what's happened, doesn't want to actually take the child, but does so being begged by Anna to look after her, take her to Boston, and look after her and to kill her, which Marlene again doesn't want to do, but agrees to do as well. And this sets up our opening, explains how she got her in, because Anna lies and says that she gave birth before she was bitten.
Yep.
But of course we didn't actually see that was the case. So this is basically how they're explaining Ellie's. This is where I agree with you, and I'm just annoyed with people. I've seen people complaining about, I liked it better when it was just a mystery. And I'm like, but it doesn't do us any harm to have an explanation. It's totally believable and viable, and it's fine. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you complaining about that?
Everything needs to be explained. I don't know. People, I think people just moan for the sake of moaning.
So of course, yeah, but that's the internet.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not. We're sitting here moaning about people moaning.
I know.
People moaning.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Of course, just like we're doing our opinion
Exactly,
now. But I just bring that up because I kind of like that's one of the times when I agree with you, and I don't think we need to explain or offer our explanations to why people are like this. But it was one of the times I was like, there's nothing wrong with this. Come on, there's nothing wrong with this.
No.
And it's well acted, and it's harsh, and it's heavy,
Yep.
and it fits the theme of the world, and so on. But in the present, Ellie and Joel are still making their way to where they believe or hope the Fireflies will be. And I love the dynamic of the relationship now. Joel is way more open now,
Yes.
way more talking to him, way more. In fact, he seems to be worried, continuing that she's suffering a trauma, and he's constantly looking at her and checking over her. And he's talking to her like she's his daughter now. He's fully embraced He's fully embraced it. He's accepted it. He knows what he wants. He really, really does. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, this whole sequence leading up to the giraffe scene, but this entire sequence, you can see he's concerned. He's trying to talk to her. She's obviously she's not. They're spot roles.
Yeah,
she was the talkative one, and he was the quiet one.
And now they've swapped. And I even jokingly said to my wife, I was like, "Shut up, Joel. You're talking too much." Do you know what I mean? Like it was like that.
You're always saying to her, "Look, be quiet. We could be heard." And he's the one who wants.
Yeah, very cold and off with her. Now it's completely different. But she's very, very quiet and withdrawn, and you can see that concerns him. But of course, it leads to the scene with the giraffe, famous scene from the game done here, which kind of brings Ellie back a little bit. Do you know what I mean? That beauty and that moment and interacting with the giraffe and the conversations. It's a very well done scene. Mirrors the game perfectly. What possible complaint could you have here? There's none.
This is probably one of my favourite parts of the episode because it got this again. Joel Pedro Pascal, brilliant. I mean, when she's laughing, giggling, you can see him. He's looking at it. He's so happy because he knows that she's past. I don't know, past the corner.
That she might be okay. She might be okay given time.
I mean, when I remember the scene from the game.
Of course.
When I saw this scene, I thought, please don't do what I think you're going to do. Please don't they're going to follow the giraffes and then if they're going to get overrun by infected.
Oh, okay, right,
I said, please don't do it. But thankfully, it was just a lovely,
just a nice
giraffe having a family moment, and that was it.
Take a break from the violence and horror and just let them have a moment. And that continues as Joel now begins to talk openly about Sarah to Ellie, which is obviously shows the development as well.
Yeah.
Also revealing now as well that he attempted suicide. And fucked up basically. Flinched at the last minute, survived. That's why he ended up in the hospital area that he's talking to at this point. I really like that scene. It's very open, it's very honest, but also it leads to him pretty much admitting the reason why he feels he can carry on. Which is Ellie.
Yes.
He doesn't outright say it, but he leaves it hanging there, and you kind of know it's the case.
Yeah, definitely.
But of course, this is The Last of Us, and. My wife's like, oh God, what's about to happen? You know, because she doesn't know the game and all that. So obviously a smoke grenade gets thrown out, a flash grenade, and they both get kind of blasted and disorientated. Joel sees Ellie being grabbed by some people and then wakes up in a hospital bed. But it's okay. This is the Fireflies. Well, it's sort of okay.
Yeah.
He wakes up, he demands to know what Ellie is, and Marlene comes along and they talk and stuff like that. And he's like, okay, and all that. And like, you did a good job and all that kind of thing. And she says how surprised she is and stuff like that. You're smiling.
Yeah, I'd say that Marley, man, she's thick. She managed to get there before him. So if she had kept Ellie, she'd have got there before him.
Yeah, but remember she got shot.
I know she was shot.
Yeah, she was shot. Like the whole issue that had occurred.
Yeah,
that was designed. Yeah. The issue that occurred back in episode 1 was designed so that it could never be Marley.
Of course, yeah.
It had to be Joel and Tess. But of course. This all leads to the reveal that they are preparing Ellie for surgery. They're going to basically synthesize a cure from the virus in her brain.
Yeah.
But this makes Joel realise, confirmed by Marlene, it will kill Ellie if they do this. That kind of thing. And you're like, okay, right, so here's the choice moment. Does he accept it? Does he deal with it? And know that for the greater good, it's going to be the case? But Marlene rightfully is like, nah, he's not going to accept this and so on. It's like, right, you need to leave here, gets him at gunpoint and has fellas lead him out.
I'm very surprised by her, you know. I'm surprised she didn't kill him. Because if she knows him by reputation,
But she could never have known he'd go this far. Reputation or not, why would she have it? She doesn't know that they bonded or connected. She doesn't know what they've gone through. She doesn't know how hard he would fight to do this and basically arguably condemn the rest of the world just for one person, which is ultimately the biggest villainous thing that Joel will do. The idea, there's a lot of shades of grey in this about Joel's behaviour that's really, really important, obviously.
Yeah, definitely,
It really, really is. You know what happens next, people, if you've played the game. What might very well be up there as one of my favourite sequences in the entire show. Because of the brutality. I will never not love Joel's matter-of-fact, unwilling to compromise. They beg for their life, and they'll kill him anyway. It's that, and you're waiting for it, and he fights these guys off, and then just with the sound muted and music playing over it, rampages through this hospital.
Yeah. I mean, from the moment that they were leading him out of the room and down the stairwell, you could see him. He's looking around everywhere. He's looking for something.
He's just waiting for the opportunity.
Waiting for the moment. And as I said to you before we started filming, I said that this is my Rambo father moment. This is a man doing anything to save his daughter.
Yeah, that's what he sees it as. Is he sees it as that, and it's brutal and it's harsh. And Joel is, I don't know what's the word I want to use because I get it, but like it's fucked up, mate.
Yeah,
like this is fucked up.
It is. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It really, really is. And yeah, when he gets to the fucking surgery room, and he's like, there's nurses and a doctor, and he's got him at gunpoint, and he's like, unstrap her. And the doctor's like, I ain't gonna do that. And Joel shoots him straight away. Like,
no question.
All right, nope.
Move on, gonna shoot you.
And it was just like, even now, I don't know why I was still so shocked. I was like, Joel! Like,
the only thing it didn't show, which I was waiting for, was him to kill both nurses. Which didn't show it. But I'm going to say he did kill him.
I'm going to say he didn't.
Oh,
I'm going to say he didn't, as I'm going to say it was them that alerted Marlene.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to say he didn't, because there was no need after that stage.
Do you know one of the things which it's very small, which I enjoyed, is that, you know how you watch most of these TV shows, like, for example, like The Walking Dead, they seem to have infinite ammo. It was constantly changing his gun.
Had to drop his gun, pick up new ones.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought. Well, remember that. I also love that. I said to my wife, I said, "How fucking brilliant is that?" Yes. He has to keep changing weapons because none of these guns would have much ammo. Nope. So he's running out in one gun and having to pick up a new one. It's such a small touch, but it's fucking believably brilliantly done. 100% agree. I'm glad you brought that up. Absolutely. So Joel takes Ellie down to the lowest level of the hospital. She's unconscious in his arms, where Marlene intercepts him and holds him at gunpoint. She basically begs him like not to do this, explains, and he kind of tell by Joel's face that he knows she's right. He knows she's right and stuff like that. And he's seen his face, and Marlene lowers her gun, and then we cut. And we cut to Joel in the car with Ellie waking up in the back seat. So you're like, oh, okay, he left. Oh, what happened there? And you're like, okay, they're not going to show you or that kind of thing. Ellie wakes up, wanting to know what happened, and Joel lies. He says the Fireflies basically have found other immune people and they had failed. So they don't think it's possible and basically given up. It's not the best of all. It's not the best lies. It's something that will be easily unravelable eventually. And it doesn't seem to 100% convince Ellie, but she's disoriented at this stage, so she's kind of like, okay. And then we kind of do actually go back to show you what happened. And Joel had a gun underneath Ellie's body, and when Marlene lowered hers, he used that to shoot Marlene in the stomach. She was crawling and kind of like basically begging for her life not to do this. Nope. And with one line, you won't stop, or was it like you'll come after us?
You won't stop chasing us.
And shoots Marlene dead. And he's like, good God, Joel. Good God.
She should have shot him, though, man. She had the chance.
She's not Joel. Joel is.
Not, but he does murder the entire team.
Yeah, this is murder.
It's murder. Yeah.
All to save one person to. A cure.
It also kind of makes you think back to 2 episodes where Tommy was questioning Joel on why Tommy's sort of scared of his brother, I suppose.
Yeah. It's quite a moment. We should also throw in as well that like Marlene rightfully says to Joel, Ellie should have the choice.
Yes.
Now, Marlene decided not to give Ellie the choice earlier on, which is, I guess, a problem in itself, because they were worried she'd be scared and be too fearful, and that would cause an issue. But, you know what I mean? She took her choice away there. But you're right, Ellie should have the choice here.
She should do.
But the problem is that Joel knows, and we know, what Ellie would choose.
Yes.
Of course she's going to choose to give up her life to potentially save everyone.
This is a father now, saying, I'm making the choice.
He's made the choice for her.
Yes.
He's wrong to do that. He's not her actual father either. He
no.
doesn't get to do this. He doesn't get to. Ellie should be the one to make the choice. He should have forced Marlene's hand into that.
Yep.
Let her make the choice. Let her wake up, and she will make the decision. Stay with me, live a happy life, whatever, and stuff like that. You know? But he knows what Ellie will choose.
Yes.
He knows that. Exactly why he does what he does. And the episode ends with them heading back to Jacksonville and Ellie questioning Joel about the Firefly story and getting him to swear that it's true. And he swears it is true, and she simply replies with, okay.
She already knows.
Well, it's not that, but she may not.
Suspicious,
She may not be convinced by it. And that's where it ends. But of course, it's also the end of the game. I get it, people. I get why you may feel underwhelmed. It's short. It jumps over certain things. It doesn't include your affected if you want that. It maybe moves a little bit too fast when it could have slowed down. I get all of that. But I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. It's as simple as that then, yeah.
They could have given us, an hour and 10-minute episode for what?
More talking.
Yeah, for me, they fitted it in perfectly. Again, brilliant acting by Joel.
Acting in this is another brilliant one, yeah.
The guy's just an amazing actor.
Yeah, of course.
And the acting was brilliant. There's hardly no infected throughout the entire series, really.
Of course.
Apart from that one major episode, obviously. But it doesn't need it. It
didn't need it.
It's a show that, it's not The Walking Dead, but there's zombies every episode. You don't need it. Yeah.
I agree. I was very satisfied. I think this is, it's been said actually in some of our other episode reviews. I think this is the bar setter.
Yeah.
This is the bar setter for everything to try and reach now. This is basically what you need to do. You need to put this much effort in.
Yep.
You need to pay homage and tribute and follow a game's story as best as possible, while also throwing in new ideas. You need to involve those involved with the creation of the game the way The Last of Us has.
Yep.
The people who've made the game are involved, so it becomes their love affair as much as anything else. That is so bloody important.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we done our Halo, we said that what's going to be Halo. This is completely.
Well, remember that's
that's our opinion.
Yeah, because not a lot of people agree with us on that. But yeah, this is 10 times better. This is way better. It's a great ending as far as I'm concerned to a great show that I will look forward to. I won't do it yet, but at some point, maybe in the build up to season 2 when that comes, I will rewatch all the episodes all the way through. You know what I mean? To re-experience it and reignite the interest in it at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I don't think we're alone. I know we're not alone in our opinion. I think for the most part, it's been incredibly successful and very beloved.
Yeah, as you said, they set the bar, and for future game adaptation, Resident Evil people, this is what you want to do.
Resident Evil ain't doing this.
No.
Resident Evil
never doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's hope when we get season 2, it continues to live up to the high bar set by season 1. That is The Last of Us episode 9, Look for the Light, and our finale for the show. Of course, let us know what you think of this episode and the show overall in the comments, but also bear in mind we have other variations and they made what into a TV series and movie all over this channel, so go check them out. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?